It's Tuesday, the 22nd of March, 2022, and I'm Bevon White, reflecting on today's watchword. Rejoice and be glad.
This is the day that the Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it, This is the day that the Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made.
Indeed, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let me say thanks to the Reverend Patrick Cook of Trinity Moravian Church in Jamaica, who has led us in our reflection in the last 3 weeks. And we really enjoyed and we were blessed by his sharing. Thank you, brother. And may God continue to bless your ministry. Today our watchword is from Psalm 118 and verse 24. Before I knew it as a Bible verse, I knew it as a call to worship, used on the third Sunday of the month at church, the church that I grew up in. Before giving thought to its meaning, I was saying it joyfully and forcefully, believing with all my heart, then, even as I do now, that this was what we should do. Our watchword for today is from Psalm 118 and verse 24. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Psalm 118 is a thanksgiving song. Like the other thanksgiving psalms, this psalm gives voice to the reality of answered prayers. In these psalms, the writer takes a retrospective look at what has been experienced and gives thanks to God for deliverance. Struggles, hardships, persecution, sickness, even certain death have been turned around, and sorrow and tears have been transformed into joy and rejoicing. A new dawn of peace, security, gladness is God's gift, God's answer to prayers. Thus, there can be only one response: to rejoice and be glad in it. You see, my dear friends, when we know what we have been, where we have been, what we have been through, and we see where God has brought us from, we are left with only one response only, which is to praise God for his loving kindness, which is better than life itself. In verse 5 of the psalm, the psalmist tells that when he was hard pressed on every side, that is, when he was encircled with no place to run, with no one to turn to, with no room for escape, he cried to the Lord, and the Lord brought him into a spacious place. I love that. God moved him from a place of entrapment into a place of strategy, a place of planning, a place of freedom. God moved him from the uncomfortable into comfort. God's response to the psalmist teaches us a valuable lesson today. The fact that God responded to his cry reminds us, dear friends, of how close God is to us, of God's nearness. Psalm 34 verse 18 tells us that the Lord is near to those who have a broken heart and saves such as have a contrite spirit or a crushed spirit. Today's watchword gives us a reminder that whatever we are going through, God is not far from us. It reminds us that at those moments when we feel abandoned and alone, God is only a prayer away. Whisper a prayer in the morning, at noon, in the evening, and keep your hearts in tune. It affirms to us, friends, that when we think no one hears our cries for help, our cries for peace, our cries for justice, our cries for forgiveness, our cries for the fulfillment of our deepest needs, God's ear is attuned to hear our faintest whisper. Psalm 116 and verse 2 reminds us to always pray. Because he bends down to listen, I will pray as long as I have breath. Dear friend, your day may be bleak now. You may be going through rough times right now. But remember, weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30 and verse 5. If this is your day of rejoicing, and indeed, then indeed I say to you, rejoice. Give thanks. Be glad, be happy. If you are experiencing hardships today, I encourage you, seek the Lord.